Well, this marks the end of our chase of the big boy. We're going home now, and by the time you guys see this, the big boy will be resting in its shop in Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm.
And what an adventure it's been.
Wow, yeah.
Tiring?
Tiring, we're tired, everybody's tired. But, oh.
I don't think the engine's tired. I think the locomotive's just getting started. In fact, in fact, I know it is. Anyway, check this out. The final movie from us for a little while on the chase of the big boy. Check it out. Well, when last we saw the train, it was parked in Evanston.
Yes.
It spent the night there, and so did we. But what a great opportunity to just get up close and personal with these two great locomotives.
It was sure fun to come back out here, though, and see it at a standstill and get some photographs.
Yeah, usually we're just trying to get caught up with it. This is 844. This has always been the star of the Union Pacific. It's been in service on the Union Pacific since it was built. This is their new toy.
Oh, it's neat.
The big boy, 4014. So the two locomotives had come to Utah for the reenactment of the driving of the Golden Spike. What is it, Sesquicentennial?
Something like that.
The 150th, anyway, anniversary of the driving of the Golden Spike. And the Union Pacific had restored this magnificent locomotive just for the event. And people had come from all over the world just to see it and chase it across Utah and Wyoming.
The sunset sure gave us some really neat light to work with.
And the next morning, the train was going to depart for Rock Springs. And come the next morning, all of the train fans were finding their good places all along the route to see the train come by, and more specifically to get great photographs.
I don't think the state of Wyoming has seen this many people on any of these roads.
Yeah, that's for sure. Usually there's not this many people in the whole state. So we next got caught up to the train in Granger, Wyoming.
Windy Wyoming.
The wind is always blowing here. They need to put in more windmills. But good grief, this is just a calm day for Wyoming.
It is.
Wyoming is actually the state where that expression was born, I just blew into town.
Yes, literally.
And be out by sundown.
There you go.
There's so many places out here where you just can't see the train at all, and then eventually it comes right up along the side of the freeway.
Yeah, this was a beautiful shot right here.
Isn't that neat? You got that shot out of the car window.
I did.
I don't film and drive simultaneously.
No,
I let
do
you
I.
do the filming.
Yes.
What a beautiful shot. It's always nice when they park the train for a while. They have to do it because they have to lubricate all the bearings and check everything for heat. But it gives us a chance just to get caught up to it and get up close to it.
Right. There's nothing like driving by on the freeway and say, hey, it's stopping.
It's stopping. Yippee. It's also nice because a lot of local people and so on want to see the train, but they don't want to join the maddening crowd as it chases the train across the high desert. So they can just come down to the depot and meet the people and look at the train.
Which is what an elementary school did.
Which is what an elementary... Oh, this is Ed, and he's the head of the steam crew, the people who restored this magnificent locomotive. Kind of the founder of the feast, but he couldn't get very far without the support of the Union Pacific. And these guys, the unsung heroes, Ed personally picked these guys out. They're Union Pacific police, but their purpose here is crowd control to make sure nobody gets run over by the train. But the entire event wouldn't be possible without these security guys. And they were traveling with the train, the best of the best. And we were fortunate to have these guys along.
With that many people there, I'm sure there's a few of them that want to get a picture of themselves even standing on top of the train. So that's just not safe. And so these fellows are here to make sure that the public remains safe.
And they're real-life cops, so you don't want to upset them. This is interesting. They had to convert the locomotive from coal firing to oil fire. There's just no way to get that much coal out along the line. And so this is the fire pan that goes under the firebox. And these are the Kragometer modulus. I don't know. I have no idea what they are, but they have something to do with the oil firing, some kind of valves. But this conversion was absolutely necessary. Well, on to Rock Springs, where the train will be spending the next 3 days.
Wow. I swear there's more people following it even now.
I think so. You would think out here in the middle of nowhere we'd lose some people. Nope.
Nope, they're still chasing it.
Huge crowds. And from all over the world.
There's all these people stopping.
Now at Rock Springs, the plan is to park the train on this somewhat disused track right here in front of the depot.
Yes.
Where it will be on display for 3 days and let all the local people get a good look at it. But for some reason, it stopped down there.
Yeah, I could hear it coming, and it's like, what happened?
So we wandered down there to see what the heck was going on, and of all things, it's caught on a tree.
Well, there you go.
You'd think a big monster thing like this, but no, the tree grabbed a hold of it, and rather than risk tearing the electrical system apart, the crew had to bring the whole thing to a halt and figure out how to cut back the tree. There was an executive meeting to discuss this.
Yes.
And they finally decided that they would grab a saw.
Exactly. You know, you never get to see anybody up here on these walkways. I know what they're for, but to actually see somebody up there walking along.
Yeah, no kidding. There's a walkway, there's a railing, but here for once, there's somebody actually walking on it.
With a safety harness.
Yeah, oh yeah. They wouldn't have been doing that back in the 1940s. They'd have just been oops and fall to your death. A little safer these days.
Well, this is a similar thing to what happened in Evanston when there was a pile of rocks blocking the track.
Yeah, they're not used to having something this big on the railroad. And sometimes there are clearance problems. Rocks and trees get in the way.
Why does this keep reminding me of the old movie, The Long, Long Trailer with Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball? You know, the part where they say, just back it in?
Yeah, and then they smashed the landscaping, the house, the garage.
Nobody's anticipating the size of this locomotive.
No, I know what they're doing now for the upcoming tour is going around and checking clearances and curvatures. They're just not used to dealing with anything this big on the railroad. There's so many things that are just taken for granted. There used to be coaling towers all along the railroad. But without the coaling towers, they have to convert this thing to run on oil. And the same issues. The railroad used to be quite prepared for these giant steam engines. But today, you might run into something as simple as a tree being in the way.
Exactly.
You just don't know what you're going to run into. The railroad just isn't used to a fire-breathing steam locomotive running down the tracks anymore. Well, I think they've solved the tree problem. This was the big branch that was sort of caught in the electrical wiring. Well, this has been a grand event.
What an event. I'm glad to be part of it.
It's been tiring, exhausting.
No kidding.
But a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Well, now that this inaugural run is finished, they're planning to take the locomotive out all by itself without the 844 and tour the entire Union Pacific system for the rest of the summer.
Sounds like another chapter begins.
But this is going to give even more people an opportunity to see this magnificent locomotive.
You just saw the school kids here and all the families, taking time out of their day to come down and experience railroading.
That was really something.
Oh, no kidding.
I think my favorite moment on the whole trip was when we met the train right after the snowstorm.
That was the best shot.
Coming down Echo Canyon, and just absolutely beautiful what we saw there. It's the most beautiful place, I think, on the entire Union Pacific system, with this brand new locomotive. And anyway, that was but the whole trip was spectacular.
Oh yeah.
But they're already working up the big national tour.
Wow.
Over 5,000 miles for the rest of the summer, ending up somewhere in October, somewhere around Salt Lake City or Denver. Now, the only thing that's been announced so far, the first part of this trip, is an excursion from Omaha to Boone on July 15th.
Nice.
And that information's on the Steam Club, Facebook Steam Club page, and other places on the Union Pacific Steam schedule. They just barely announced that, but there's going to be a whole bunch more announced excursions over the rest of the summer as they're taking the train around for over 5,000 miles.
Wow.
How about
So
that?
cool.
Well, anyway, just something to see.
No
And the
kidding.
big boy may be coming to a city near you. You just never know about these things. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, pop on over to the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, do subscribe.
Absolutely.
Because it helps everybody out. And then you'll be notified as they release more and more schedule on this steam train.
Oh, there's a. Oh, yep, they got to
And the
stop.
easy way to become a subscriber is to click on the upcoming blue button. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
Zoink! Blue button. Right there. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you here again on Tuesday as we play with some more toys.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.